Today's video is all about ways that you can make huge monetary mistakes that will cost you tons and tons of money, things that you can do in this life where your money will be completely wasted or it's going to cost you way further down the line. Let's get into it. Alright, so the first one is paying an expensive amount for shipping but not having the correct address applied to the item. So let's say you buy a very expensive item that needs very delicate shipping, like a brand new computer or a fragile musical instrument. You have to pay several $100s extra just to ship it in special casing, right? But oops, you made a mistake and you wrote down the wrong address or you wrote down the wrong town and it gets shipped to some other random address. Well, then the product gets shipped back to wherever it is and you have to pay for that shipping all over again. So you're basically paying double for a hyper expensive shipping. So make sure anytime you do something expensive that needs to be shipped, make sure that you double check your address and get it correct. Now this next one is a common scam that I have seen many times growing up in the ghetto, and then this applies to everywhere all over the world. But there are home style gyms, boot camps, dance parlors, whatever you want to call them. They're basically a little mini fitness center that'll spring up in a strip mall, or little signs that are just placed randomly throughout town stuck in the grass on the side of the road that's like, do you want to get fit? Call this number, right? And what these are just people that aren't really a business. They're just like a family, maybe a husband and wife, or, you know, some young college kids, and they just want to get a bunch of people together, take your money, and then let you run around town with them, use their basic gym equipment that they bought at the sporting goods store, stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the scam comes into play whenever they try to get you to sign up for a year membership. Now remember, this is not a big company. This is not like an actual company like a 24-hour gym or something that's, you know, an official business. This is just some dude bros, college bros, maybe a husband and wife. This is just something that they're just doing to make some extra side gig income cash, right? And so what they do is they get you to pay for like a whole year up front. And because you're having a lot of fun, you're running around with your local community, you're basically having the time of your life, you're getting fit, you're feeling good. So of course, they try to pressure you, hey, can you pay up for the full year? And, you know, we'll give you some extra perks, you know, do some extra weekends with you and whatnot. And once these people have enough people that signed up for the full yearly thing, they skip town. They just make up some excuse because you never signed a legal contract. You never signed a legally binding form that they have to provide this fitness service to you. They just make some stupid, silly excuse and up and leave. They can be like, oh, well, we didn't have enough members, so we're not going to be running the program. Or, oh, my husband, you know, has military duty. Sorry, gotta go, lol, XD. And then you never see them again, and you just paid a year's worth of service for a fitness thing that never truly really was set in stone, legally binding, and you're just out hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And I've almost fallen to similar scams of this before. There was like a gym that was going to open up in like 3 months, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do the yearly membership because that's such a good deal. And then it took them 2 years to open. So I paid a large amount of money, and I had to wait 2 years to cash in. The next one is kind of money, but mostly time, because time is money. That kind of counts here. Okay, so I had a coworker who was working to become a doctor. This was a very long time ago when I worked in retail, and he was working to become a doctor. And basically, he's been a doctor for a while now, but the way he talks about it is basically this, okay? He says that it's nothing special, it's just like a job like any other, because he worked with me in retail, and it's basically the same thing. Yeah, he makes more money now, of course. That's really the only benefit. But, so he basically said that he wasted his entire 20s, just his youth, the best years of his life are gone, because he accumulated so much debt to become a doctor. He had to give up his entire social life, his personal life, everything he ever wanted to do to become a doctor. So he threw away his youth, his time, and his money, you know, for debt. And now that he is in a good spot now in life. So he's pretty much said he's got his house, wife, kids, etc. But he feels like the sacrifices he had to make when he was younger to get there were not worth what he has now. And it's kind of self-centered of him, but he does feel, you know, he doesn't really feel like he does much good in his profession because of the way modern medicine works. And he's not really doing much for society or his community for being a doctor. And he's tired of being part of the whole medical like way of life, so to speak. And it's not just him. There's other people that I've met along, my line of work of, working in retail at the time, and they feel the same way. Like people that became lawyers, people that became, I think one of them is he's not a senator, but he's in politics. He's high up in politics, and he feels the exact same way. They spent their entire young years, their best years of their life, just wasting away reading books and going to college and paying all this debt and just being like they just had no life outside of their careers. And yeah, now they're making, 6 figures and stuff, but they're not happy with their job. They're not happy with the fact that they threw their life away. And I myself have a similar thing too, because when I was a teenager, I was an actual pro gamer. I went to the MLG and did a whole bunch of pro gaming stuff, and I was spending like 16 hours a day just grinding away to be good at video games and doing scrims and having to set up all these, matches over IRC, which is an old chat program. Think of it like Discord, but with no pictures, just pure text. And I wasted my youth doing it, and it wasn't worth doing. I would trade my youth back and just not be a pro gamer. This next one is about mobile homes and trailer parks, and let me tell you, I'm speaking from experience on this one because I spent the majority of my childhood, teen life, and early adult years in a mobile home trailer park. That's right. Mobile homes do not hold or increase in value, so they are not like owning a home. It is better if you just rent apartments than try to buy or rent a mobile home. You may think it's cheap, but you have to do all of your own repairs on mobile homes, and they are not cheap. Now, I didn't have any big, massive repairs that my family had to do when I was growing up, but my neighbors certainly did. There was one neighbor who had to repair his roof. He spent $6,000 to do that, which is insane. And he told me that a lot of companies were trying to charge him $30,000. He had to find a certain type of laborer that would do it for that cheap. And he had to do favors that weren't exactly money, let's say that. And it's not just mobile homes and trailer parks, it's also people that live in boats. There was a YouTuber that I know, he's kind of inactive now, but he lived in a boat. And so living in a boat, same thing. You buy the boat, it depreciates in value. You gotta rent the harbor space, it's the exact same thing. Also, if you own the property of, like, say, the mobile home, right? Mobile homes on property lower the property value, so that's not good. And you also may be thinking, well, what if I just owned one as like a little vacation home or something? And here's the thing, right? If you own a boat or a mobile home for a vacation destination, you're going to spend most of your vacation repairing things and fixing it up than enjoying your actual vacation. This next one might come to a shocker for some, but I think it's pretty common sense, but it happens all the time, and it happened to a coworker of mine that I used to know. I don't talk to him anymore, but he had this girlfriend who was just severely in debt, and, he was all lovey-dovey, starstruck over her, and he agreed to take over all of her bills and pay off her debt. And in that 10 years that he spent with her, he must have paid over $100,000 towards her debt. And in that 10 years, she was more in debt than when they started dating. And she eventually cheated on him. So he lost his girlfriend. He lost $100,000. And just don't do it. Just do not ever. Unless you're married, of course, but, that's a whole different ballgame. But, like, do not try to be some sort of white knight that pays off the debt. It will almost never work out in your favor. All right, so this one's going to hurt all the nerds out there that like to collect trading and playing cards, okay? So this one kid I knew growing up in school, he was wild for Magic the Gathering, okay? He had a massive Magic the Gathering card collection, okay? He literally had every card from the beta. He had every card from, like, all of the whatevers. I don't know Magic the Gathering, so I don't know what they're called, but I think it's like he had, like, Full Power 9 and he had Revised Duels. I don't know what this stuff means, but he had them. Okay, and this was 1998. And he sold all of his cards back in 1998, mind you, for $1,000. And, well, at the time, he'd grown older, and he became a massive drug addict and alcoholic, and he just needed money. So he just threw his Magic the Gathering hobby away so he could buy drugs, unfortunately. But imagine if he wasn't a drug head or an alcoholic, and he kept those Magic the Gathering cards. Apparently, those cards could have bought him like $500,000 or more or something like that. I mean, I heard of, Chris Wilson, the guy that makes Path of Exile. Apparently he traded like half his company for a Black Lotus card or something like that. And this kid I knew, he had the Black Lotus card. He had probably multiples of them. I don't know. But, I mean, he traded it all for $1,000 in 1998. If he had that stuff now, he could buy like probably a mini mansion. I know a lot of these stories are just based on my experiences with other people and their experiences. is, but I did have several coworkers who basically went straight to college out of high school, and they didn't really have a plan for why they were going to college, and they just spent so much money and got so into debt, and all they ended up doing was working with me in retail. Now, this one's kind of a nitpick, but another big, huge waste of money, honestly, is like cigarettes and alcohol, okay? So neither of these things are really nutritious or required for you to live. I understand what addiction is. I understand that people smoke to be social. I understand that people drink to loosen up and whatnot, but here's some of the cost, okay? Let's say a pack of cigarettes is $8, okay? And let's say you're a very rare smoker. You smoke one pack of cigarettes a week, okay? And let's say you smoke for 40 years. So that means you're spending $416 a year on cigarettes, and in 40 years, you're spent $16.6 thousand just to smoke. It doesn't even like increase your stats. But shoot, I know smokers that smoke a freaking pack a day, okay? A day. Let's do the math on that. That's almost $3,000 a year, or $116,800 in 40 years. And, you know, alcohol is even more expensive than that. So, you know, people that drink every day, just imagine how much they're spending. So this next one involves video games, okay? Now, this is also kind of an RMT thing. I know I'm showing a video game on the screen. I don't RMT, but let me just talk about it for a sec, okay? So, extremely rare items in games that have incredibly long longevity, like RuneScape, for example, okay? If you owned a full party hat set, in RuneScape back in the day, okay, and then you sold it for in-game money or whatever, you just lost the equivalent of like over $6,000 or something. I don't even know how much they're worth now, okay? It's been a very long time since I've touched RuneScape, but I do remember party hats being worth thousands of real life dollars. So if someone just sold them back in the day, oh man, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt so bad. And yes, I know there's no real way to understand the value of these things, and like you can't just hoard everything and hope that it becomes valuable. Like, for instance, you could have bought a $500 collectible Star Trek dinner plates, you know, thinking that they'd be super worth a ton in the future, but they're just absolute trash. Otherwise, you can maybe, you know, buy a Banksy print for a couple grand that's signed by them, and then, you know, years later it ends up being $80,000. You'll never know. But also on the same topic too, dumping large amounts of currency for like consumables in a video game, pay to win video games in general, or just like cosmetics in a video game. So let me show you an example, okay? I actually own a League of Legends account that has over $700 in skins. Okay, now let me tell you about this real quick, okay? I didn't actually pay $700 to get $700 worth of skins. I traded a guild that I managed in World of Warcraft and during Cataclysm, and I sold my guild to a guy who hooked me up with that amount of skins. So basically, I got an account with $700 worth of skins, and he got my guild. So it's kind of RMT, kind of, sort of. It's more like a trade, I guess. But here's the thing, okay? That $700 skin account, right? It's not worth anything, but because I'm such a bad boy on the internet, that account is one small penalty away from a permanent ban. So I have never played it in like the past 10 years or so. I don't know how many years it's been. It's been, hell, way more than 10 years. It's been at least 17, 18 years since I've touched that damn account. I don't even know if it's not deleted or something. I haven't even logged into it, but man, oh man, if I do one little mistake, like say one bad word in chat or someone mass reports me, that account is donezo. It's about to erupt on the penalty volcano that they have. I don't even know if that's how they still do things. Now, I hear stories all the time about people who got like big job offers, but they have to move across, you know, where they live or go to a different country, and they do, and they sell all their stuff, they sell their house, their car, and then they move and they get there and they work the new job and they realize that new job sucks. They hate it, it's awful, and then of course because they sold everything, they just move back to their old hometown, and now they're back with nothing at all. So that's a huge loss of money because they could have kept the house, kept the car, and they would be better off if they just never took that job offer. That's why even if I got a really, really good job offer that's super far away, I probably wouldn't take it. Even though I'm a minimalist and I don't technically own anything, it's just, I don't know, I don't like the whole, move across the world for a job you might like or hate. But yeah, video games are a huge money sink. I mean, I know people that spent like 10 grand on Star Citizen. There's people that have spent 5,000 on Ashes of Creation and are just begging to sell their accounts. So a while back, there was this big push by a lot of financial YouTube channels and just the internet, Reddit in general, for people to open Roth IRAs, get a bunch of money into them, and then put it all into index funds. And every single person I know that did this is lost money on it. And I don't know enough about Roth IRAs or indexed funds or whatever that stuff is, but everyone that I personally know that has done this, they've lost anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000, and it could just be the economy or something, I don't know, but it's just wild. But yeah, there's many other things that I can talk about, but I don't want to really talk about them on YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and just end the video here because I don't want to get into like any kind of craziness, in the comment section. But guys, I'm Swole Benji. Thanks for watching. As always, be a bro and stay swole. I make videos every single day on this channel, and I also read every single comment. So make sure you leave a comment and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's video, okay? I have a Discord if you want to join that. There's a link in the description. If you want to become a channel member, it's $5 a month. It's like subscribing on Twitch, but it's on YouTube. You get access to private and more personal videos. They're pretty cool. It's just $5 a month. Go ahead and click that join button if you can afford it, that is. And with that said, I really appreciate you watching and hanging out with me today. On screen right now is a video that you should absolutely click. It's on the right side of your screen. Go ahead and give that a click and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Take care.